All right, welcome everybody to Selling Without Feeling Sleazy. This is the February 2026 version of this training. I did this training many times. I've done it several times and I keep updating it as I continue to grow. So I want you to think about why you're here and I want you to set your intention for why you're here. Because most people, when they come to me, they want to make more money, but there's a block around feeling sleazy. There's a block around feeling like they're selling themselves to other people. So if you are a person, let's say you're brand new in business, right? Let's say you are right around let's say under $2,000 a month. This training will be for you to start like selling your first couple hundreds and thousands of dollars, right? Like your first $1,000, your first $500. So if you're here, you might need to be getting over the hurdle of like selling anything at all. For those clients who have been in business for a few years, maybe you're sitting between like $2,000 and $5,000 a month and you want to get to consistent $5,000 a month, we'll talk about like what it's going to take for you to get there. And then for those people who are either working on 10K months consistently or you're over 10K months and your goal is to get better at selling, you're going to get something from this because we're going to be talking about sales psychology today. So I want you to tell me in the chat what your biggest block for selling is. Most of you who are here probably has something to do with the feelings that you feel about sales. So if you want to be honest, you can type in the chat. It also helps me to coach you. It also helps for me to tailor this training to you. Tell me what gets in the way when you think about selling. And as you're doing that, I'll briefly introduce myself for those of you on the replay, on the recording. My name's Cami. I'm a life and business coach. I went full-time in my life coaching business in 2020, and I scaled it to 100K within about 3.5 years. So everything that I've learned, I learned from investing in the number one skill in business. The number one skill in business is getting good at sales. Now, sales and marketing, you can call them the same thing, and we'll talk about what the difference is. But one of the biggest problems that I see with clients who come to me is they're usually perfectionists, they're usually highly intelligent, and they're usually, well, they're one of two things. They're either highly organized and they're like, oh, I need to get all my systems in place. I need to make sure I have a website. I need to make sure I have a logo. I need to make sure I have branding. I need to make sure my Instagram is correct. And they spend all of this time setting up shop. They spend all of this time literally trying to get things perfect before they sign clients. And what I want you to think about is if you had positions in your business, different companies, different departments within your business, the number one department is the sales department. I would say the number two department is the marketing department. They work hand in hand. But marketing is making sure people know who you are, right? I exist. Here's what I offer. Here's what I sell. And then selling is getting somebody to take the action to actually buy the thing, to actually take the action, right? So what gets in the way of marketing is typically visibility blocks. So you can type in the chat if you've ever had this, right? Especially I work with about 90% women. We don't like the way we look. We think that we need to feel good. We're either like, oh, I didn't get my hair done, or I'm a little bit too heavy right now. Like we have something about being seen in our visibility. We have something about being liked or being not liked, right? We might think that people don't like us or that people might judge us. So typically the things that get in the way of marketing is you feeling some version of judgment, you not wanting to be seen because of the way it makes you feel. And I want you to think about this for a minute. Do you all know that public speaking is like people's number one fear? And the reason why is because it's putting yourself up in front of a room to literally be judged. Like people are going to look at you and then people are going to have thoughts about you. But the only way to get clients is to be visible. Any of my clients that I've ever seen or interacted with, like either they're potential clients or we booked a consult, or let's say we've just had a conversation chatting, right, in a networking group or something. The people who are not reaching their financial goals in their business are the people who are afraid to be visible. They're like, oh, like I'm a behind the scenes person. Oh, like I only connect with certain type of people. So the number one mindset block we need to overcome is like marketing and being visible isn't about you. It's not about how you look. It should not be about how you feel, right? And like the way through this is I'm willing to feel uncomfortable. I'm willing to feel embarrassed. I'm willing to feel nervous. I'm willing to feel anxious in order to put myself out there because the outcome is I could help somebody today. So for those of you on this call, tell me, where are you currently marketing? Are you marketing in person? Are you marketing on social media? Do you have a blog, a TikTok, a YouTube? Just let me know exactly where you're at in terms of marketing, because we want to start today with where you're at. What we don't want to do is make a goal that is too big for where we are. So I'm a proponent of doing things 1% shifts at a time, because it is true that your nervous system needs to be regulated in order to sell. But it also is true that everything that you want is outside of your comfort zone. So we want to challenge your comfort zone enough, but we want to make it safe enough so that you literally don't shut down. I remember in the beginning of my business, I had a health and fitness business years ago, like 2015, 2016. I got fired from a job and I was like, well, I'm just going to go all in on myself. And I went all in on network marketing, and then I went all in on my health and fitness business. And I remember like paying $300 to get like this website set up, to get this program set up, which $300 was a lot at the time. And I remember launching this program that was like, it was like this better method, like how we're going to diet and exercise, like let's stop dieting. And I like, came up with this whole formula, this whole method. And I did what I thought, it was my first launch. And how many of us have ever thought like, oh, like once I start my business, once I get my website, once I get my logo, once I make a program, like people are just going to buy it. And that's exactly what I thought. I was like, well, I did videos and then I talked about it. Nobody bought the program. It was a huge fail for me. And it like had me on the couch for like 3 months, doubting myself, being like, I'm not cut out for this. People don't like me. Why didn't this work? Poor me. And I was like melting down, breaking down, thinking that like, I'm never going to be able to do this. Now, fast forward, I've made 6 figures. How did that happen? It's because I learned to be resilient and realize that the launch or the marketing or the selling process has actually nothing to do with me. And there's something in this industry that's called like there's the data, right? Like there's like an evaluation, there's a data, and then there's drama. So when we get stuck in the drama of the marketing and the selling of like, what are they going to think about me? They don't like me. I shouldn't have said that thing. That's never going to be valuable. It's never going to move us forward to our goals. Now, but it's normal to have in the beginning. Like this is the number one thing in the beginning business. And I would say anybody who's under 5K right now, like there's going to feel like there's a lot of drama, like emotional drama, because when we start a business, we are going to come up against all of our limiting beliefs, all the things from our childhood, all the stories that say we're not good enough. That's going to come up over and over again. And when you learn how to be resilient, and when you learn it's not about me, when you remember that like building this business is my dream for me, for my family, for my clients, then it will allow you to feel more regulated and more calm. It's not about you. It's about the impact that you can create in this world by offering your services to people. Okay, I'm going to pause here and check the chat. All right. So we've got Fred in the room, independent financial planner, focused on working exclusively with high performance psychology clients. Love it. Leah, I'm an author, speaker, storytelling coach. I love helping women share their stories and feel confident owning who they are. I market in person and on social media and on my website. Okay, good. Erica, event logistics manager and brand designer, running community-centered businesses. I'm here because I want to grow and sell in a way that feels ethical, relationship based, aligned, and not pushy or performative. That's so good, Erica. I love the clarity, and we will definitely give you that today. Okay. Brad says, my primary client is targeted referrals. Okay. I have two secondary sources through branding. The first is sponsorships through groups like the Chamber. The second is a lead generation agency where I pay per appointment, and it's proven expensive but effective. Great. And because I know most of the people in the room directly, I will say this. This training is focused primarily on people who are in the like 2K to 10K range, right? Or they're like trying to get their business to a 5K range. So some of the things I will be teaching here are basic sales principles. So for those of you who are above 10K, I want you to realize this might feel like a basic training for you. And also, what I always know is any time that I'm looking to grow my business, I always go back to the basics. I have this certain program that I invested in with my coach years ago, back in 2020. And anytime I'm like, I don't know what to do, or anytime my brain is like, I don't know how to get clients, I like my brain like does a brain fart and it forgets. I literally log back into the portal. I watch a few videos and I'm like, oh, it's marketing and sales. And I like, my brain remembers how to do it. So even though you may be at a higher tier, you'll still get something out of here. And this is true at all times. One of the things I learned is we never outgrow the basics. It's always coming back to the foundations. And we use sales psychology as a foundational principle. And it's really going to be important in the year of 2026. And here's why. I don't know all of you who were around in 2008, right? Do we remember like the housing crisis, the economic crash in 2008, 2009? I remember because that's when I graduated college, right? Like I'm a millennial who was sold the dream, go to college, you're going to make good money, you're guaranteed to have a job, it's going to be amazing. You can do anything if you believe. And all that I came out of school with was college debt. And then I was working in a laboratory making $10 an hour, processing human feces and semen and like people's feet and toes that were cut off. Like I literally worked in a laboratory, like a Frankenstein laboratory, cutting up specimens and getting people's bodily fluids and testing them. And I remember thinking to myself, like, my life is supposed to be better than this. Like this whole college thing, this is like, it's supposed to be better than this. And then I found coaching when I was in a narcissistic relationship. My coach helped me to get out of that relationship. And then my coach helped me to build a six-figure business. So when we think of how to create results, all of our results are created by what we think. And it starts with what we think about ourselves. That's why I wanted to start by just talking about marketing and realizing that marketing, the way you look, the way you sound, whatever it is, you have an accent, like whatever thing that you're telling yourself, we got to get over that because it's not about you. Now, it also is about you. And what I mean is the people, if you think you're in a room full of 100 people, there's going to be at least 10% of them, like you're just not going to be their cup of tea, right? They're just going to be like, nah, she's not for me. He's not for me. But there's also going to be like 10 solid clients who are ready to work with you, who love you, who like the way you look, who like the way you sound, who like that you're chaotic. Like me when I got on this webinar, I was like, where's my charger? Right? There are people they just love that. Like you don't need to change yourself for them. So I always tell myself, the more authentic I am, the more money I make. And when I tell myself I can go and just be authentic in networking or on social media or on my email list, like wherever I'm marketing, the easier it is for me to be consistent in showing up. So the 3 principles of marketing, you can write this down. 3 principles of marketing of what gets people to move forward with you. Because marketing is just awareness, right? It's like, I exist. Here's my thing. Here's my vibe. Here's what I offer. It's just like the knowledge of knowing what you offer. But in order for them to move forward with you, they need to know you, like you, and trust you. So that's where consistency comes, right? Like showing up with networking, showing up online, social media, consistently making offers to say like, this is the thing, right? And this is where I see sales and marketing like splitting off. So there's a local business here that does such a good job at marketing, right? Like people know the vibe. It's like a really friendly vibe. They know how to market really, really well. And I remember watching them once. They did, I think it was a TikTok reel. And it was like a trendy, cute little reel. And it ended up getting like 1 million views. And it made $0, right? So like the views didn't matter because there was no offer or sale or next step attached to the views. And then the views, like it didn't go out to their ideal audience, right? Like their ideal audience as a local business needed to be local. So the reason I say that is the next step into selling is, right? Marketing is they know about you. They know what you do specifically. And then the selling part is you make an offer. And the offer is just something very clear to engage with you more deeply. So everything I teach about selling is based on the value proposition model, which is the more value you give, the more a client will trust you, and then the more willing they'll be to hire you on and pay you money. Now, the way I see this getting twisted is people will overgive in the beginning of their business. They will do things like trading, like let me just trade services. Let me just do this for free to build up a portfolio. And the problem with that is that's actually not increasing your value in the eyes of the client. People want to pay for things because we perceive once we've paid for it that it is more valuable. We also know things that we pay for, we're more likely to show up for and get the value from. So inviting them into the next step, right? Onto a free consultation call, onto a discovery call, into a lower priced offer, right? Into a free webinar, which is what I'm doing today. I'm demonstrating to you the way I've built a 6-figure business is by offering value again and again. And what people always say about my workshops and my trainings is I don't hold back. I just give it to you because I know when I give it to you, number one, I want to give you a transformation ahead of time. I want to give you a quick win. I want you to feel like you got something valuable that actually changed your life. Because the most annoying thing is going to a webinar or a training where you're like, cool, great. Like you gave me nothing. Like you gave me something that was really broad and it didn't help me at all. It was just like a whole bunch of fluff, right? So when I'm teaching, I always want to give people actionable things that they can actually do. One of the actionable things right now is seeing where you're at in your own sales psychology. So I'm going to begin to ask you again where you're at on something called the belief triad. So some of you have trained with me before. We've talked about the belief triad, but we're going to talk about it again. Belief triad is your ability to believe and your client's ability to believe. Okay. So you can write this down. You can actually write it down as a triangle. And then you're going to write at the top, belief in you, like belief in you as the service provider. And I want you to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. Belief in yourself in general, like as a person, as a human, like belief in your ability to reach goals, belief in your ability to deliver. Just type it in the chat, belief in self. Tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're at. On the next point of the triangle, you're going to write belief in clients, belief in your clients. So I want you to now think like, how much do I believe that clients are out there? They want to work with me and they're ready to pay me today. Go ahead and type in the chat, scale of 1 to 10. How much do I believe clients are out there? They're actively looking for what I sell and they want to pay me. Because that's the tricky part, right? They're out there and they want to pay me. And then lastly, on the belief triad is your belief in your process, right? So this training is mostly designed for service-based entrepreneurs, right? You offer a service. So maybe you're a professional organizer, maybe you're some type of coach, maybe you're a service provider that does like website design, events, something like even real estate agents, that's a service, right? So go ahead and rate, what do you believe in your service? And then I want you to write out, you don't need to put this in the chat, but if you want some custom coaching, you can put it in the chat. Tell me why you believe each of these things. So we have, okay, belief in me, 8.5 most days, belief in clients, 6.5, belief in process, 4.5. So the good news is when we see like, ooh, I don't know if I believe in my process, that's a good opportunity for us to be like, let me spend some time. And when I say time, oh, this is really good. I'm going to give some coaching on this because I just got off a call with a client, which is why I was running a little bit behind. I just got off a call with a client and I was saying she had some people that she had met who had expressed interest in her offer and she had followed up with them once. And then I said, do you want to follow up with them again? Right. And what I teach, I don't teach chasing leads. What I teach is being easily accessible and like the obvious choice. And so what's useful is like, as long as you're top of mind and you're the obvious choice and like your link is easily accessible, then so you can comment on their Facebook posts, you can send them direct messages if you want to. I usually like to do things like comment on their Facebook post, right? So they remember me and then make direct offers. But in this particular case, I invited her to follow up with a value add to her person. And we had briefly talked. I was like, well, what did you guys already talk about? And she kind of already talked to like, we talked about this and these are the things I could offer. And I said, perfect. Why don't you respond to her with like an email with an infographic that just says, hey, like, here's how I can help you. Here's step 1, 2, 3, 4. And while she was like trying to get her email together, I pulled up Canva and I made this infographic and I typed step 1, 2, 3, 4. And I wrote down what my client and I had talked about and I made it in 29 seconds. And I sent it to my client. I said, why don't you send her this? And she was like, how did you do that? I said, because I heard what you said about your process. And then I just made it really clear. And I said, why don't you just let the client know, here's the phases we would do this in. Here's the steps. And like, I'm happy to get on a consult call with you. I know you're busy. I'm just following up. And she was like blown away by that. But it's because I know how to pull information out of my brain and make a process, right? That just comes from making yourself do it. Most of you guys, most of my clients before they come to me are trying to like literally spending days on ChatGPT, quote unquote, trying to get it right. And what I have learned, right? Literally coaching perfectionists and being a recovering perfectionist myself, the way that I've made money is I go out there and offer what I have with my current knowledge and I sell it and I deliver it. Then I evaluate it and I get better and better and better and better. The only way that you're going to learn is to like sell it, deliver it, and then evaluate it. You cannot sit behind the scenes and try to perfect your process without working with a real human. So what I say is like, just break it down to a couple steps to where you feel clear enough and then start telling people about it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Definitely a 10 for belief in self, maybe a 6 for belief in the clients, maybe a 6 on my process. Yes. Now, the good news is for some of you, you can go out there with a level 6 belief and sell. You don't need to be at a level 10. You just need to have certainty, enough certainty, and enough connection, right? So selling is just a transfer of emotion. And you need to have enough certainty and enough connection to their problem that they trust you to solve their problem, right? Okay. Belief in self, 7, belief in clients, 6, belief in my process, 9. Good. Okay. So we have everybody that's kind of all over the range and this can change day by day, right? But what I teach is like actually doing this process every day to find why you do believe instead of just telling yourself you don't believe. And I know this is true because I went through a period, I've been very open with most of you, if you've seen my stuff over the past 2 years, I've been through anxiety, depression, health issues where like I had such low energy and my brain kept telling me like, I don't have any value and nothing matters. So literally every day for 3 hours a day, I'd have to wake up and be like, why does this work matter? Why can I still help people even though I feel like trash? Because that's when people usually like give in. That's usually when people, right? We talked about the economy back in 2008, 2009. We're in a similar situation in 2026. Like you don't get to be passive in your sales and marketing this year. The people who are going to grow and thrive are the people who double and triple down on their sales process. And that means you're doubling and tripling down on offering people value through connection, through your own certainty, and through you spending time thinking about what it is that I offer. How can I say it more clearly? How can I invite people in? How can I offer more value? So the people who are going to stand out are the people who are really offering a lot of value, who keep showing up, who keep building their belief, who keep making offers, who keep booking consults. So I want you to think about that. What if this year was not about selling? What if this year was about thinking about how many ways and how many opportunities you get to give people clear, concise information about what you do, and then an invitation. So all selling is information and an invitation. And the problem I'm seeing now in the age of AI, I use AI, so I'm not going to talk too much shit on it, but I use it to get frameworks and then I edit it in my voice. Because what I see a lot of times is AI sounds like AI. It doesn't sound like a human. It sounds better when you're using your own voice or you're mirroring your client's voice, right? If you think about what are my clients struggling with? Who have I talked to? What have I heard them say? Then we mirror that with their own words right back to them, right? Okay. So now this is your belief triad. That's in your brain. Your clients also have their belief triad in their brain. They need to believe in themselves and their ability to go through the process and get the results. They need to believe in you as the person who they're meant to work with. And they need to believe in the process. So your job as you're out there in your marketing is to make sure you're addressing, here's what I do, here's how I do it. Here's a little bit about me. Here's how you know if we'd be a good fit. Here's how you know if we weren't a good fit. And then you need to, in order to attract clients that believe in themselves, you have to believe in them. Because I want you to think about what happens. What do you do? And you can type this in the chat. What do you do or what do you not do when you're not believing in clients? And I'll give you an example. This happened to me, it's maybe a few months ago. I was just taking a walk outside. This is when it was still warm enough for me to walk and it wasn't literally 16 degrees. But I was walking outside with my dogs and I was just thinking, I was when's the last time I signed a client? Oh, it's been a while. And I was I haven't had any consults in a while. And I was thinking why? And I'm why haven't I had consults? And I was wait a minute. It's because I forgot to believe in I could sign a client today. I could get a consult today. And then I forgot to ask the question, how can I help somebody today? So I kid you not, I was going on these walks for 2 days, thinking about how I could help somebody, how I could offer value. I don't remember the exact actions I took, but I imagine those actions were probably post a TikTok, send an email, solve a problem, think about my clients and problem solve and send a marketing out. I ended up signing a client within 2 days, but it was because I forgot what I teach and I got right back onto it. I was oh yeah, I need to believe that the client wants to buy. Oh, this happened. This happened recently. I sent out an email with a special offer. And this was crazy. Special offer. I was just somebody on my email list would want this. And somebody who's on my email list for 3 years, she saw me at a speaking gig. She remembered me. I didn't really remember her too much. But she was yeah, we did this and that. And she's well, you sent the offer. And I was yeah, of course. And she signed up for a call. And I was wow. Had I not sent that email, she wouldn't have booked, right? But I sent her an irresistible offer with a ton of value and she booked the call. Okay? So that's what you want to be thinking about. Now, let's talk about the actual consultation and the selling process. And I want to start with why do we feel sleazy? So we don't want to feel like a used car salesman, right? I want you to think about you're there on the lot with what I imagine a sweaty, fat used car salesman. He just got shifty eyes. And we have feelings as we're engaging with this used car salesman. And I want you to tell me what comes up for you when you think about this car salesman. And the words that I wrote down were, we feel defensive. We might feel annoyed or closed off. We might feel uncomfortable or disrespected. We might feel powerless, we're kind of stuck there, he has the power. And then we also might feel distrustful. So those are all the feelings that we feel whenever we're in a situation with a used car salesman. And most of us obviously we're good people. We don't want to make other people feel that way because we felt that way. But I want to show you why we feel this way and then what's going on in his brain that makes us feel that way. So we feel this way because we can tell he's hiding something. We're like, I know that there's probably something wrong with this car, and I know he's like trying to pull a quick one on me, right? We know like he really just wants to make a deal and make his commission today. We can feel it. We know he doesn't actually care about us. We know he's just going to sell the car to whoever's on the lot that day. And we know he's just there to get the sale. He doesn't care about people. None of this is a problem at all. This is just witnessing sales psychology. We remember the sales that feel gross to us because the way our brain works is we remember really emotional times, and we typically remember negative emotions more than we remember positive emotions because our brain evolved to keep us safe from anything that could harm us, right? And losing money to use car salesman would be something that could harm us. So this is just a lesson. It's not a problem. But I want you to think about what selling is. We talked about this. Selling is just a transfer of emotion and intention. So selling is just a transfer of emotion and intention. We can feel the icky intentions of the car salesman, and we can feel like his emotional state that makes us feel a certain emotional state. So I want you to consider when you're selling to your clients, type in the chat, how do you want them to feel? How do you want your clients to feel as they're having a selling conversation with you, as they're thinking about moving forward? How do you want them to feel? And going back to the used car salesman, when he feels greedy, right? He's feeling greedy, like I want your money. He acts pushy, and then we can feel it and we act defensive. And we're like, ooh, no, this is gross. I don't like it. I'm getting the ick from you. I don't want to move forward with this, right? And we lose trust whenever he's thinking that way. He's transferring his emotion and his intention to us, and we don't like it. But I want you to think about the last time you had a positive selling experience was. Think about the last time you gave somebody your money and it was a positive experience. And my favorite one to use all the time because it's so reliable is anytime I go to Trader Joe's. It's like the best day of my life. Even though the parking lot's usually crowded, their carts are chaotic. Their carts are like all over the place. You can barely steer them. It's always packed. There's always like a million people in there, right? Like it's not actually that easy to shop in there. But when I go to check out at the register at Trader Joe's without fail every time, that person who's ringing me up is a bundle of joy. And they're like, ooh, is this good? Have you tried it? Oh, these are so good. I love these. We just got these in. They always sell out. And even one time, there was like gluten-free cookies on the rack at the register. And I was like, are these any good? Like, these are crunchy cookies. I usually like soft cookies. And they're like, well, let's try them. And they opened them up for me right away. And I was like, give me the cookies. And they sold me the cookies and it brought me joy. And I think about it all the time. And I use this as a selling example all the time. They upsold me at the register, which is their job. But they did it in a way where I felt really good. I felt really cared for. I felt excited. I felt really excited to give them like an extra $7 for cookies, right? So I want you to be thinking of, we are in control of the selling experience for our clients. Therefore, we are in control of us feeling sleazy and them feeling the ick. What would change for you in your business if you actually realized you are in control of the selling process? Do you think you'd make more money? Do you think you'd make more offers? If you knew it's safe to sell, what do you think you could achieve? And I want you to type a number in the chat. Like, what is your monthly goal? What do you think you could achieve if you knew you were in control of the sales process? Yeah, I want my clients to feel relieved, like a burden has been lifted. Great. I want them to feel seen, safe, and excited. Great. Now, I think the tricky part here is, even though some of you said, like, I believe in my process a little bit, some of you said I believe in my process a little bit higher, I do think part of this is like, The only way you can get good at talking about your process is by talking about it. Post about it on social media, do videos about it, do consults and describe your process over and over and over again until you get really good and clear at it, right? Most people are trying to perfect their process before they have that conversation. But the tricky part here is, and you guys can tell me if this is you, right? You're like, okay, I believe in my service and I believe like when I'm having a sales conversation, I can tell people like, this is what I do. Here's how I can help you. And at that point, they will feel relieved, like a burden has been lifted. But tell me what happens when they're like, okay, great. I want your help. Tell me what happens in you when the money part comes up. Okay, this is going to cost money. This is my price. Tell me what happens in the energy when you go from like, here's how I solve your problem to the part where you're like, and write me a check or transfer the money. Here's the bill. Here's the invoice. What do you think shifts in that point? Because what I typically see with my clients is they will do so much over delivering, so much value, and then they'll kind of be like, okay, if you want to buy it, just talk to me later. Bye. And they like run away from the rest of it. They run away from the most important part. They're like, good luck. Tell me if you want to talk to me. I'll send you an email follow-up. Bye. Yes. I swear I shrink. I feel bad. Yes, I get a little nervous. Yes. So most people are going to shrink and feel bad. I'm curious, what is the flavor of feeling bad? And you can type in the chat. If you're aware, you can type in the chat of like, this is why I feel bad. And a lot of people, they'll say like, I don't want to feel like I'm asking for people's money. Or this is even more prevalent, especially in the times we're in. What'll happen is whatever's going on for you financially, right? Let's say you're like, ooh, I'm having a hard time making ends meet. Ooh, I'm not really able to pay all my bills. Ooh, I have a lot of debt I still want to pay off. Or you're like, oh my gosh, my price is the same price as a mortgage. And you start thinking about like, wow, I'm expensive. What happens is we start commingling our own money mindset, our own money scarcity with the potential of them making an investment, which has nothing to do with our personal finances or our business finances. So it's being able to hold the energy of, here's the thing I offer to you. Here's the value of it. And then here's the price. And I'm safe to talk about this. And they're safe to talk about this. We're both safe to talk about this together. And when you bring a grounded energy to that conversation, remembering that it's not about you. So it's not about you trying to get the money to pay your bill, right? When we're in that mindset, that is when we feel the ick. When we are truly connected to solving their problem, saying, hey, I could really help you. And here's my price. And we can still sit there and help them with the thoughts that they're having, right? Typically, people will call this objections. When we realize our human brain always has time, money, and energy objections. It doesn't even matter what the thing is. Time, money, and energy objections. When we learn how to just sit with that and be like, okay, I can talk to you about all of this. Instead of running away from that conversation, you will see higher conversions when you're having these consultations. And I see consultations as a value add. That's why I do 1 hour free consultations. It is like people are blown away at the end of a call because they're like, I can't believe you're giving me a free hour of your time. And I say, that's the way I want to run my business. There's other people out there teaching like only give them 15 minutes or make them pay for a consult. I don't think that's valuable in my opinion. Now, some people still do it. You can do your business model however you want. But the way I teach my clients is why not give an hour consultation for free? Because number one, it's going to get you better at talking. You're going to get connected to the person and you're going to help them make usually a larger financial decision. So when I'm helping my clients, we're usually selling something that has a price point that's like $1,000 or more. And there is a sales psychology of like, I can click a buy now button on $27. That's easy. But it becomes increasingly harder to sell when it's like It's $397, $500, $1,000. So I'm typically saying if you're selling something $1,000 or more, let's have a conversation. Even if you're selling something $500 or more, if you're brand new, you want to be having those conversations instead of running away with them, right? Yes. And here's what somebody just said in the chat. I feel bad because I usually know their financial situation. And I get this because it feels like we are being empathetic. And it's true. Like it could be true. Like I know them as a person, I know them as a friend, I know they're struggling. But here's what's so interesting. And I know this because I have a money coach on the call. I hired a money coach this year to help me pay off debt. And some people would be like, why did you do that? You should just take that money and pay off debt. I said, because I need help because I keep spending money and I need somebody to help me figure out why I keep spending money. So even though factually I should have just taken that money and put it towards debt, I need to learn the skill of saving. I need to learn the skill of getting out of debt. So like that is a perfect example of somebody needs your solution regardless of their financial situation. And it's not on you to make the decision for them. And the reason we know this is because I see people in bad financial situations all the time buying new shoes, buying new purses, buying a new car, buying a new house. So I'm like, it's my responsibility to make sure they know this is what we could do together. This is the result you could get. Here's the price. And here's what it would look like if you want it. So I believe that people are choosing where to put their money and they're choosing where to put it based on what they value. So when you think about what is the value of my offer, what are they going to get back in time or money or energy or skill? I want you guys to practice, write this in the chat right now. What are they going to get back in time, money, energy, or skill? What are those things? Because when you're clear on that, you're able to say the price and you're able to say the value, and then they're able to make the decision. And then this is the final thing I'll say about thinking about who you want to work with. So a lot of times people will be like, I'll just use this for example. They'll be like, I want to work with teenagers. And I'm like, great. Do teenagers have money to pay you? So we all sometimes have to think about our business model and be like, is this the population that I want to work with? Like, is it actually factually sustainable for my business? Right? And it's not to say that we can't help the teenagers. It's just to say maybe there's a way to show up and help teenagers for free. That's more of a marketing opportunity where you're like, every month I go to the shelter, I help teenagers. And I do that out of the goodness of my heart because that's one of my business values and I want to donate my time to that. And over here, the thing that's going to be running my business is like moms of teenagers or something, right? So sometimes we do have to consider like, am I talking to the people that actually don't have money to pay me? If so, it doesn't mean we exclude them. It just means we find a way to make it fair and equitable. Maybe we have a sliding scale for certain populations. Maybe we have a special offer, right? Maybe we do things for free, but we decide I only take on one free client per quarter, right? So there's things to think about in that way. Yes. Fred says, I show them it's an investment. Of course. So everything when you have a service is the value of what you offer. And remember, we already talked about the marketing piece. It's not about you selling yourself. And this is where most people get like caught up in unworthiness. Like, I'm not worthy to receive this money. And we want to separate your innate worthiness from being a human, a magical human on this planet. We want to separate that part out from the value that your service offers. The value that when they hire you, they get. They're going to get time. They're going to get money. They're going to get a skill. They're going to get a result based on working with you. They're going to get an ROI, a return on investment. And it actually has nothing to do with you and your valuableness. And so there may be some things that you need to tell yourself. And the question I like to ask myself is like, what is in the way of me making money today? Right? Belief in self, belief in my offer, belief in my clients. And then I actually like to be like, what are the specific beliefs? And I found a belief like a year ago where I was like, oh yeah, I'm too fat to make money. I had gained weight. I was like, oh, that's interesting. My brain is saying, nope, you're not allowed to make money now. You're too fat. I was like, what? But once I saw that thought, I was like, oh no, hold on a second. And then I went out into the world and I said, okay, let me look at all the fat people that are making money. And I started to use some examples of like, oh, fat people are allowed to make money because look at this person, look at this person, look at this person. And then I got myself back on track. So just notice all that's happening in your sales is something's coming up in your brain and it's stopping you from being able to go out there, meet people, make offers to help them, add value, and then literally make sure they know exactly what you do and exactly how to work with you. So those are the steps. You're meeting people either networking or online. You're making it very clear what you do specifically. No chat GPT fluff. Clear, concise, direct. You're making offers over and over again. Book a consult call, come to my webinar, send me a message, comment below. Like the amount of offers that you need to make six figures, it's disgusting. It's so much. But think about it. You don't have to work a job. You get to just do this for your business. So sometimes when I'm like, where are my clients? I'm like, oh, how many offers have I made? How much value have I put in today? So I want you to be thinking of, okay, where am I at? Scale of 1 to 10 on making offers. And where am I at right now? Scale of 1 to 10 with adding value. Because sometimes we think people should just show up because we build a new website. And the truth is, we need to come up with a value plan in order to get people to engage with us, in order to call them in closer, to create that trust, to then take the next step with us. So type in the chat, where are you at with your value? How much value you're offering? Scale of 1 to 10. How much do you think you're offering right now? And then scale of 1 to 10, like how well do you think you're doing on making offers? And then this is where I want to go into my framework as we wrap up. So your main takeaway from this today is selling and marketing is not about you. It's about your clients. It's about solving a problem for them. And then the way that you do this, very simply, on repeat, 4 steps. Number 1, you're going to meet the people. Online, in person, wherever. Step 2, you're going to make it clear what you do. Very, very clear what you do, exactly what you do. Could be your process, very clear what you do. Step 3 is you're going to make offers to help them. And then step 4 is you're going to come up with value that you can add to them over and over again. This is all you're doing. Oh, offers made, 5. The other one I said was your value plan. Like what value are you offering out into the streets, out into the world, out into the internet land? So value could be like, here's an easy tip. Here's what you need to know. Here's what I tell my clients. Value could also be like, hey, here's what a consult is like. And then in order to take this work farther, there's 2 phases. Phase 1 is you've got to master your ability to market in a magnetic way, right? That's you being you, not making it about you, helping people, making offers. That's like phase 1. Then phase 2 is getting super good at the consultation process. Getting on a call with somebody, talking to them for an hour, talking about their pain point, walking them through it, and then being able to hold space for their objections. So I gave you the basics here today. You've got 4 steps. You can take all of this and do it over and over again till you get to $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month. But if you want help with this, I have 2 offers that I help people with specifically. And I've broken this up based on stage of business where you're at. So traditionally, in the past few years since I've started my business, I've always done one-on-one coaching for 6 months, and we coach on everything. We coach on your life, we coach on your business, we coach on your relationship, like your health, like whatever you want to coach on. And my clients love it because we get to coach on everything. And I still have that offer. But as I was thinking about 2026 and the value that I want to add, I was thinking about how can I get clearer about exactly what we do inside of my one-on-one coaching. And I came up with 2 programs for you. and I'll type them in the chat so that you have it. You'll also get a follow-up email as well. But the first program is called Magnetic Authority. So Magnetic Authority is for those of you who are wanting to get to 2K. Magnetic Authority. And this is where we work on your marketing, your mindset, your visibility, and your ability to get people to take the next step with you. So from here, we get clear on your messaging, like what is it that I offer? What's the process, right? Like, how do I sell something if I don't exactly know what it is or know how to say it? We work on your confidence in the way that you show up. Like, people always talk about 30-second pitches. I don't love that. I love for you to be an authentic person who can connect with somebody. So we want you to be able to connect authentically with somebody, but also be in your authority. So I do help you come up with ways of saying what you do, but it's never about being perfect. It's just about being connected and confident. Calm, connected, and confident. So by the end of this program, it's 12 weeks. You get one-on-one coaching with me. The very first month, we also include Voxer access, which means like you can get on a walkie-talkie with me every day where you're like, I don't know what to post today. I don't know how to market today. For the first 30 days, we onboard quickly so that you're out there making offers, so that you're out there marketing, so you're out there booking consult calls, so you're out there networking, so you're out there like pitching yourself to the world and providing value. By the end of this, you have confident messaging. You will have at least 2 ways to market. I don't need to overwhelm you. You don't need to be everywhere, but we decide where you want to market. Is that in person? Is it on Instagram? Is it on TikTok? And then we find out how to be consistent there so you're building your magnetic authority. So what happens is people start seeking you out. People start booking consults with you because of who you're being, because of the confidence and authority that you have energetically, which leads to you saying things in a way that people just get it. They're like, yeah, I get it. I understand. Tell me more. And then they start reaching out with you. So this is for people who want to get to 2K. And I always say, this is the way we're going to book at least your first client, if not more. But if you're starting from scratch, this is where you want to start. Okay. Now the investment for this program, this is the 12-week. The investment for this program is normally $2,000. But for the next 2 weeks, we're taking $200 or $500 off. So it's one payment of $1,500. Okay. Magnetic Authority for those of you who are looking to get to 2K months. You're starting with the basics, the messaging, the marketing. We're building you up from scratch so you can be confident talking about what you want to do. All right. That's the first offer. The second offer is for those of you, you're like, I'm already making money. I'm already making over 2,000, but I really want to get good at selling. So that could be selling from stage. That could be speaking and giving presentations, giving workshops and selling at the end of the workshop instead of just running off the stage. It could be doing a consult. It could be making like a funnel, like a creative marketing strategy to get people into your world and then sell them on the back end. Could be selling a group program. But this product is called, it's the same thing. So it's 12 weeks, but it's the advanced room. So this is for somebody who's making over 2K and you're wanting to get to 5K or more, and you're even working on 10K months. This program is called Sovereign Sales. Sovereign Sales. Okay. So in here, we're going to get you really good at selling to where you're just the person who sells everywhere you go. You're just the person who people are like, oh yeah, she's super confident. He's super confident, but never in a pushy way, just in a way where you're like, wow, they have a lot of audacity. They have a lot of confidence. They have like this ability to walk into a room and everybody sees them. They have ability to go into a networking event or like the town they live in, just everybody knows them. I know this is true because this is what I did. I moved to Fayetteville in 2019 and everybody knows me. Like, I'm being dramatic. Not all of the 200,000 people here know me, but the people who are in the networking space know me to a point where I'm like, sometimes I try to get away from people knowing me. If I'm like headed to Walmart or the gym, I'm like, please don't know me over here, but they know me because I do such a good job at just believing like I should be known. People should know me. People should work with me. Right? Yeah. Leah says, I feel that way about you. Can't we see? Leah knows we met at an event. When I walk in the room, I'm just like, the party has started. And this is something that is learnable. Okay. This is something that is learnable. Most of you think I was born this way. Now I was born a little extra, but the side effect of me being born extra was that literally all of the feedback I got from anybody, any of the adults in my life growing up, right? Family, extended family, teachers, coaches. I was always in trouble. I was always told I was doing something wrong. I was literally told, you're annoying. Nobody wants to be around you. People don't like you. So I want that to land for a second because my biggest wound is that people don't like me. I'm still dealing with this wound. But I've just decided I am not going to let some story from my childhood stop me from making hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just ridiculous. I'm not going to do it. So I've learned how to feel feelings, how to feel that anxiousness where I'm like, oh, people aren't going to like when I say this. People aren't going to like how I show up. And just be like, well, oh, well, I'm going to go make 10K today. So we need to build this rock solid energy for you where you sell yourself knowing that some people will not like it and knowing that some people will absolutely love it and be obsessed with it. Okay. So this program, 12 weeks, one-on-one coaching with me. From here, we work on your consultation process, your selling from stage, any other offers that you want to sell. If you want to come up with a new offer, like a group program or something, you want to come up with something different, we're going to talk about how we can do that and actually sell it in a strategic way. So this offer, since it's advanced, this offer is normally $2,500, but for the next 2 weeks, again, this one's get $500 off. So this will be $2,000. Okay. All right. So those two offers are here for you. And if you are beyond this, if you're like, hey, I've already done this, I'm beyond this, then reach out to me for regular one-on-one coaching. If you're like, I don't know where to start, then the answer is just book a consult with me, right? Like that is the value of the consult call is I talk to you about where you are, where you want to be, and then I'll fit you into the program that I think is best. I'll offer you the program that I think is best. And if I don't think it's a good fit for us to work together for whatever reason, I'll send you off to another resource or I'll refer you out to somebody else. But book a consult today. I'm going to drop my link in the chat. It's cammykennedy.vip. That's going to take you directly to my booking link. If you do not see something on my calendar, if you're like, this time doesn't work for me, just send me a message. I work at night. I like a night owl. So if you need something later, I'll work later. I will not work earlier. My clients know this. My clients know this. They're like, try to get morning calls with me. I'm like, no, you can't get morning calls with me, but you can get later calls with me. Okay. All right. So that's what I have for you today. And let's just say I have another special offer for you. I forgot about this one. Let's just say today you're like, I just need some help with my social media. I have a social media audit I just want to offer to you because I offered this to a local group last week. And I was like, oh, this is a cool thing. If you just want to take a look at your messaging for you, I have a $47 social media audit. I'll take a look at your Instagram. I'll take a look at your Facebook and we will see how that works for you. I got to get the link for you though. So message me if you want that and I'll get the link for you because I don't have it top of mind right now because quite honestly, I forgot about it. All right. So that is all for today. I told you guys that I would keep it at an hour. And then I also let you know that we will open it up for questions here as well. What I'm going to do is go ahead and stop the recording for those people who get the replay, but I will stay on Zoom and I will open it up for any questions that you have and we will answer questions from here. Okay. All right. Thank you everybody for being on with me live. And then I'll stop the recording and we'll open up for questions.